And speaking of just, speaking of the left, man, all of this is just, all the headlines today are just so baffling. So, remember how this trigger warning thing took place? I want to say around Trump time. This is probably around 2013 and on, really, when you started hearing about trigger warnings taking place within college campuses. Well, there are some spoilers here regarding Thor, so if you haven't seen it yet, kind of skip past this article. It's not a major spoiler by any means, but Thor fans are all upset about an emotional scene, and they're telling the company for this film, Marvel, that they need to put a trigger warning for the film. Now, I saw the film. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best Thor film by any means. You kind of get what you get, and there's definitely LGBTQ stuff in it, that's for sure. Like men with men and you know, having Korg and all of this stuff, and the other girl, the Valkyrie chick, dating women. It's just, you know, it's definitely pushed on you. Like I said, it's not the greatest film. It's a rental. But it says Thor Love and Thunder is making waves at the box office, but fans are enraged in a Twitter war over whether the film needs a trigger warning due to some emotional moments. Grow up, grow a pair. It's a freaking movie. The scene in question depicts Natalie Portman's character, and this is where we get kind of the spoiler. It's not really much of one, folks. Scientist Jane Foster finds out she has stage 4 cancer, and you get this at like the beginning of the film. The character then puts on a superhero suit and becomes Thor. New York Post reported Jane later goes through chemotherapy. And because of the way they portrayed this chemotherapy, trying to make it look somewhat realistic, they're just completely like, oh my God, oh, what's happening? We just got done going over a story where literally homeless people are attacking citizens as well as Olympic medalists in the streets, throwing pipes at them, doing fentanyl in front of children, doing drugs in front of the children, prostitution in front of children. You have drag people going to high schools and doing performances in front of children half naked. And these are, you know, men that are dressed as women, dancing like a strip club. And you're complaining about a freaking movie portraying somebody with stage 4 cancer? As you have women making out with each other on TV all the time. You have freaking Baymax on Disney Plus having people buying tampons when they're a man for themselves. And this is what you want a trigger warning for? Give me a damn break. The whole cancer storyline in Thor 4 is traumatic for some viewers in such an extent that they're asking Marvel to include a trigger warning on the content. Quote, no spoilers, but Thor Love and Thunder should have a trigger warning for graphic depiction of cancer and the fact that we didn't know going into it is atrocious. So they're supposed to just reveal all these things about the film. Kind of a main point for Thor as well, because it's an overarching story that continues through the film. They're supposed to reveal that to all of you beforehand. What a bunch of idiots. Quote, it has practically ruined any ability for me to emotionally care about the movie, since I felt like I had to shut off any feelings off to protect myself from connecting with the content and needing to leave part away through. Why go to any movies then? I mean, that is literally the whole purpose of a movie, is to emotionally connect with the characters in the film, so you care about them or you don't care about them, and you progress through that movie, whether it's a feel-good movie or not. I mean, that's the whole purpose. So what a stupid, it stopped me from emotionally caring for that person because I had to shut off myself to it. Oh, God. I mean, folks, remember the men that stormed the beaches of Normandy, and now you got people like this posting idiotic things on Twitter? It almost, I'm not saying it does, it almost makes you feel like if we were to ever go to war that we wouldn't win it, because these are the people that would take up arms. Or maybe not. Maybe they'd cower and be sent to jail. I don't know. Sorry, kids. A movie studio is under no obligation to give you a trigger warning that spoils the film for everyone, just in case. You have the internet. Read the spoilers if you are worried, or that there might be something you are worried about. 100% agree. As a cancer survivor, I find this extremely stupid. People's reactions to the suggestions of trigger warnings for the Thor truly make me realize how cold, disgusting, and cruel humans can be. One person mused about the response. People deserve to know what emotions they want to feel when going to potentially have a good time at the movies. I mean, we live in the stupidest time. Can we just be honest with one another? The time we live in, it's the greatest time, don't get me wrong, in like all of human history to exist. But in terms of like dumb people, this is probably the dumbest time. It's just, I mean, with so much technology out there and just the internet alone, we're literally at the palm of your hand, you could find out anything you want and learn about anything you want. You still have people running around like this. And maybe in a sense, that's how good we have it in America, is that this is the type of stuff where we're at now, where people are fighting over men can be women and women can be men and vice versa. Whereas like there's actual evil in the world in other places where people are literally being chained into cells and lowered into the water and drowned. Some people are literally being flayed alive as we speak right now in the Middle East. In the Middle East, as we speak right now, there's still slaves. There's still slaves all across the world, upwards of like 40 million. But this is the stuff they're going to talk about. I would also like to point out there's a famous story I always disclose here on the podcast, and it comes from Nikki Haley, the old UN ambassador of Donald Trump. She's Indian, by the way. And the reason why I point that out is because they always call Trump racist, but yet he hires people from all over the world to work for his company, as well as work for him when he was the president of the United States. But she has a story in her book. I think it's called All Due Respect. And I believe I get her book, Kayleigh McEnany's and Sarah Huckabee Sanders' book all mixed up. But I think it's With All Due Respect is the title of her book. And she talks about how she was in this village and there was all these women that just wouldn't talk to her. They were scared, they were frantic, they were fearful. And finally they warmed up to her and they were telling her on how they're getting raped all the time by these men. And these men are just consistently beating them, hurting them, sometimes even killing them. And there's one woman that shared a story with her that her newborn baby was thrown into the fire and she had to watch it die. And then as it was crispy, she had to eat it in front of these men. And this happened multiple times with multiple of her children. But I bring that up because you see all that stuff going on around the world, right? And this is what the left wants to focus on. They care about slavery. They care about all the injustices that America did do, and they were evil. But as these injustices are taking place around the world, they're not speaking up at all. You know, they want to just crap on America all the time and ask for trigger warnings before films because somebody put on a little bit of makeup and depicted a person with stage 4 cancer. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.